And thus far, we've got 1,147 families. That's quite an increase from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And also, but what I can say, in terms of preventing homeless, we've done really well. Just under 400 families that we prevented homeless.
Yeah.
And this could be by ways of finding alternative accommodation for them in the private rented sector and so forth.
So these are people who quite often they've been evicted because their rent has gone up, or the landlord's decided they can't be a landlord anymore because interest rates have gone up, they can't pay the mortgage. All these sorts of things that are impacting people in rented housing.
So there's a huge change in the landscape, and we've seen that post-COVID. And what we've got is at least just under 2,000 families on our waiting list. And again, that numbers is increasing. In comparison to other local authorities, it might be small, but for Sutton, it is really a big issue.
Hello, I'm Toby Fox from 1.5 Million New Homes, the Local Government Challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Lovell. Every month, we're visiting a different council to find out what works and what needs to change to get more homes built. And this month, we're in the London Borough of Sutton. And I'm here with Linmora Blair, who's Director of Housing at London Borough of Sutton at the Chalk Gardens development by Berkeley Homes. So, Linmora, what makes Sutton so great?
So people make assumptions about Sutton.
They do.
They really do.
It's a sleepy kind of place. It's a leafy kind of place.
There you go. But the benefit of Sutton is that you get the best of both worlds.
Go on.
So you do get that leafy feel and you get that suburban area, and we're very close to the boundaries of Surrey. But at the same time, it's an easy access into central London. So you get a lot of people coming to want to work in the borough and also travel to various areas. I mean, we have Heathrow Airport, which is close by, as well as Gatwick. So again, that's another attraction. And in most recent years, what we've seen is new communities actually settling in Sutton and bringing really bespoke culture. So we're seeing people from Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, South Asia, and we're also seeing more recently Afghanistans and Ukrainians. And they're also embedded into our distinct villages. So you're getting a real breadth of different cultures and different feels to different parts of Sutton. And that's what makes Sutton great.
Okay, so that's a change to the sort of demographics here, the community mix. What about the economy? What's driving the economy in Sutton?
So I think what's driving the economy in Sutton is that there's been a really big shift. So we've seen a change in terms of the cost of living. We've seen a change in the private rented sector. We've also seen that older people, are living much longer. And then we're also seeing a different demographics where we're seeing a strong population of young people. So you've got young people coming into Sutton, working in Sutton. You've got a different older generation. That combined with local communities really shows a really great and diverse local authority that we are. I think the demographics is changing as well as the demand for accommodation.
Right.
So right now we do know, just like other boroughs, that there's a need for more affordable accommodation. And what Berkeley and other providers are doing is looking at where there are opportunities to help local authorities like Sutton, like us, to build and create real new communities.
So Linmora, we talked a little bit about the drivers in Sutton, economically and demographically. How is that translating into housing need?
So we've seen, just like other local authorities, that there has been a real need for new affordable homes, especially in Sutton. So we have seen an increase in housing applications. And this is really fueled by the cost of living, changes in the private rented sector and really a lot of our residents who have been unsettled or not had the opportunity to have settled accommodation, especially in the private rented sector. And with that change, there is a demand for more affordable housing, especially in boroughs like Sutton. Building more affordable accommodation really helps us to achieve our ambitions for Sutton in terms of finding suitable accommodation for families.
So Linmora, how is it that you're measuring your progress in delivering to that need?
So we look at our targets and what's required through some of our KPIs. One of them is around temporary accommodation and the number of families that are currently in temporary accommodation. And thus far, we've got 1,147 families. That's quite an increase from a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And also, but what I can say in terms of preventing homeless, we've done really well. Just under 400 families that we prevented homeless.
Yep.
And this could be made by ways of, finding alternative accommodation for them in the private rented sector and so forth.
So these are people who are, quite often they've been evicted because their rent has gone up, or the landlord's decided they can't be a landlord anymore because interest rates have gone up, they can't pay the mortgage. All these sorts of things that are impacting people in rented housing.
So there's a huge change in the landscape, and we've seen that post-COVID. And what we've got is at least just under 2,000 families on our waiting list. And again, that numbers is increasing. In comparison to other local authorities, it might be small, but for Sutton, it is really a big issue.
What was it a few years ago?
So we were just under 900 families in temporary accommodation a few years ago.
Yeah.
And again, we would have been under the 1,000 properties on the waiting list. So you're seeing, a hike in those figures. I think what we can really look towards is, again, going back to our ambitions for Sutton and really about how we're delivering affordable accommodation for our residents. That is something that I am really passionate about.
Yeah.
Sutton is really passionate about, and so are our partners and residents. So building 500 homes over 5 years is really a good segue into dealing with some of these challenges that we have with people on our waiting list.
So Linmora, thank you so much for your contribution to getting 1.5 million new homes built.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi.
So that's it for yet another episode of 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Lovell. We're going to be back in a few days with more from Sutton in South London. But until then, if you like what you've seen, please click like and subscribe. It really helps us if you do. We look forward to seeing you next time.